Hello and welcome to another episode of Literary Gladiators, the show where we discuss and debate literature in all of its forms. If it's written work, it's game. Let's meet the panel.
Hi, I'm Larry.
Hi, I'm Jackie.
I'm Charlie.
And I'm Josh.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Thanks.
Long time no see.
Thank you.
What are we going over today, Bree?
Hamlet by William Shakespeare.
Hmm.
So the first question is, how would you characterize Hamlet?
I'll take a stab at it.
Yeah,
I got an A in all my psych classes. Nutty. I will say he is irrational to the point, irrational when he's killing and going off on all these tangents. But I would say he is to a point where it's like where he would have Alzheimer's. He's a little out there, like, how do I put it nicely? He kills his family. He's a nut.
He's reckless. He's definitely reckless.
Well, then you have to remember, you gotta take into consideration what age he is right now. You think about Hamlet, you think of those, really moody preteens, like, okay,
Yes.
his father died. I understand that. I understand not a lot of time has lapsed between his father dying and his mother getting remarried to not only another man, but his uncle as well. But then he keeps just going on and on about it, about how he hates his life. His to be or not to be speech is the legendary suicidal speech, like, should I live, should I kill myself?
That's so funny. People, they think that to be or not to be is something of confidence, but it's of contemplation.
Exactly. And then the thing that annoys me the most is that, like Charlie said, he's very, very irrational. He just wants to sit there, and he wants to do this, and he wants to do that, and he never thinks anything through. But the thing that I have to disagree with you, Charlie, is I don't believe he's totally, psychotic.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I was a little off on that.
Well, the way that I see it is that, because the whole premise of this play is he really going, dwindling down into insanity? Or is it just like how he said at the beginning, how it's just a ploy to make everyone think that he's psychotic?
It's set up in that way very much, because a lot of the play, if it doesn't have him within the scene, it has to do with them talking about whether or not Hamlet needs to be moved away because he's going off his rocker.
Exactly.
But granted, you have him talking to the ghost of his father on one hand, but on the other, people told him that they saw the ghost of his father. So you have a lot to support whether or not Hamlet is, whether or not you can provide a clinical diagnosis for Hamlet, which you have to wait until as the play progresses.
True that.
You're going to say something?
I was going to say, it's true that in the beginning when he talks to the ghost, that his friends see it too, but then later on in the play, when the ghost comes back, he doesn't, and he's talking to the queen, she doesn't see him.
Another thing I want to take into consideration is, one thing that I always contemplated, did his friends actually see a ghost at the beginning? Once again, taking his age group into consideration, how many times has someone around that age, what is him like?
Someone said he may have been 32.
Yeah, someone said he might have been 32, but then when I think about, he's going to the university.
So he's got.
So I think that maybe he might even be a little younger if he's been at a university and everything. That what if his friends were just trying to mess with him? They understood that the state of distraught he was in. It was like, oh yeah, we saw your father, ha 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 ha.
LOL.
And then that just, got to him, and he was thinking, oh my God, is this my father's ghost? That's why I don't really go off the testimony of who was the friend who saw him at the beginning. Horatio. Yeah, I don't really go off. I don't believe the testimony of Horatio seeing him that much, because I know that he's been trustworthy to Hamlet, but I don't believe that. And then just like Charlie brought up, Gertrude didn't see, right, Gertrude?
Yes, Mother's Gertrude. Queen Gertrude.
I'm getting all my plays confused. Gertrude doesn't really see the father, and Hamlet's like, he's right here. So
Take your pills, honey. Take your pills.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know what to make of it, to be honest with you. How do we know? Okay, let's say that there is a ghost. How do we know that that ghost is actually his father? And
Call it paranormal.
Just some malevolent spirit that's there to cause havoc in the realm of Denmark. That was something else that came to my mind. Is just because the ghost looks like his father doesn't necessarily mean that it is.
You have to wait until the play progresses, and then you begin to lose track of whether or not Hamlet is sane, or you think that as at the beginning of the play that Hamlet is just going through a difficult time because he lost his father since his uncle, you can't even confirm that his uncle was the one that killed his brother.
And that's father. True, right? Until he admits it in a soliloquy.
Yes.
Which is like, I don't know. To me, it would be a more interesting play if he didn't, because then that leaves it all up for conjecture. Like, did his uncle actually even poison his father? Like, it would be kind of a different play. But by him just giving that soliloquy where he pretty much confesses to the murder, is like, I don't know. It kind of takes away from it. No, it makes it. Like, okay, at least you know that Hamlet is.
No, he's talking about when Claudius is in the confession booth and he's saying his own little soliloquy, saying, you know, this is what has happened.
When he's talking with Ophelia?
No,
he's by himself.
In that moment, yes.
That's when Hamlet was initially going to kill him, but then he was like, since he's confessing at this moment, if I kill him, he's going to go straight to heaven instead of straight to hell where I want to send him. That's another reason why I'm wondering, was Hamlet truly crazy? Because in that second, when he could have been impulsive, like any psychotic person would have, he has a moment of reason. And he wonders, like, okay, this is what would happen theoretically, so this is why I should not do this. People in psychosis don't have those moments of reason and, you know, thinking everything through.
Of course, Shakespeare tries to play with us.
Oh my God, I love Shakespeare.
He's definitely impulsive and reckless. Whether or not he's sane, I can't say.
We would need a doctor in psychology.
Is to be or not to be misinterpreted by the media and those that are just familiar with the work or have not read it?
I said it before and I'll say it again. Absolutely.
I absolutely agree.
I concur. I said a big word.
Like, everyone in the media is like, to be or not to be great or not to be. No, it's to be, to live, to die, to sleep, no more. He specifically says in there that, you know, to sleep no more. When you're dead, you don't sleep. When you're dead, you never dream. So he is saying, should I, you know, what's to be, not to be, that's the question.
Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles.
Exactly, he's saying like...
And by opposing end them, to die to sleep.
Yeah, he says there's like, should I live here? Should I live in this world where I'm suffering a slings and arrows of outrageous fortune?
Or I'm being tortured.
He's not even being tortured. He's dealing with all this stuff going on, like outrageous fortune, his father dying, his mother getting remarried, everyone thinking he's crazy, the whole thing with Ophelia.
That would torture me.
Hamlet's making a choice whether or not he should withstand the pain or just
end it.
End it, and if he ends it, he's letting things flow that should not be.
He's letting Claudius get away with the murder.
Yes, that is true. But if he can
withstand
the pain,
other way. I take it to be means to allow it to go unpunished, and to not be means to take arms against the sea of trouble, which does not mean to kill yourself. I don't think. I think it means to try to right a wrong, despite the fact that it will lead to your own death. Because if you kill a king, you're going to die.
But what if you're killing a usurper? And then you like expose it to the world.
If you kill the king, you die, and the king becomes a martyr. That's how it works in your circumstance.
But he does kill a king.
He ends up killing the king, but as the story progresses, he ends up dying himself in the end, but it's at his own discretion.
No, he does not want to die.
Of course he doesn't want to die, but that's the way that he planned.
That's the price.
He does pay the price.
Yeah. So to me, that's what that whole speech is about. It's about to do the right thing will cost me my life.
He's just involved in a double-edged sword. No matter what way he puts it, he's going to have himself in a particular circumstance.
But I can definitely see where you're coming from. Like you said, to like you were saying, to be, to let this go on, to not be, to stop what is going on, right?
Yeah.
That's the way you're seeing it?
Right.
So that's why, I just had it in my head. Like, it kind of like, it is a double-edged sword of both our opinions, because to be, to let it go on, to live, to forget about it, everything, not to be, to like, to expose the truth, to have that cease, and in like, with those consequences of going forward with those actions, he would end up dying.
Yes.
So if you think about it that way, it's kind of like a combination of the two.
That's the only way he's going to win.
Because then when he goes on, he says, you know, it's the fear of death that keeps us from doing things that we should probably do, which is nobler, to live and just to exist and to say, okay, I'm here, but and life sucks, but I'm just going to deal with it, or to take a chance. And
Vacuums suck too.
going to end up potentially killing you.
Before killing the physical body, he has to kill the character, which is, he has to make known that Claudius is, in fact, that Claudius is a fiend. He's the one that killed his brother in order to assume power. That's the only way that Hamlet can successfully seek vengeance, is by exposing Claudius for who he is, and then
taking out the trash.
taking out the trash. Yeah, Claudius being executed or killed.
Okay, so Hamlet is often deemed a play about revenge. What do you believe is the theme or themes to the tragedy?
I think revenge is at least one theme. There's probably there's several of them that you could take into account.
Revenge, vengeance, pretty much the same thing.
Insanity.
Mhm.
Like the question of it, like the question of not even just insanity, the question of humanity. Like, how could Claudius kill his brother just for power? Like, is that really, are humans really that power hungry that they will do anything, including killing their own flesh and blood, to get what they want? So
I think plenty of people can answer that question.
yes.
And I think the theme, too, of insanity, that the other angle on that is the way that people treat the person that they think is insane. And Hamlet even has fun with that in that one scene with Polonius where he's talking about the cloud. He's like, what does that cloud look like? And Polonius is like, whatever Hamlet says, he disagrees with him. You know what I mean? So just trying to placate him because he thinks he's crazy, and Hamlet knows that he thinks he's crazy, and he's just kind of having fun with that moment. Like, I like that part a lot, because, you know, that's pretty much, I think, how it would be to be insane, is people would just, you know, yes you to death and say whatever you say, you know, after a point.
Yes.
Right?
I also think a
Yes.
main theme in this play is manipulation, because
Oh, yeah.
going off of that,
Yes.
Polonius is trying to manipulate Hamlet to fall in love with Ophelia so that they can, because the whole thing is Polonius, he's like the bottom of the totem pole, and he's trying to work his way up. Think of if his daughter married the Prince of Denmark. I mean, that would get them so much social status, and then there's a whole thing of Ophelia, like them telling Ophelia, you know, play hard to get, but then tell him you love him, but then forget him.
But the way that Hamlet read it ends up going to her, send her to a nunnery, just reading through this, and then, but the fact that the discussion that he has, that's being watched as well.
Yeah, like everything is just, you know, watching this one man trying to manipulate his surroundings while he's trying to manipulate everyone else by his whole, oh my goodness, I'm going crazy facade.
It's kind of a thing. You know, it's like, it's strange, you know, because there is that aspect of it where he does not think he's crazy.
Yeah.
And he knows that everybody thinks that he's crazy. But at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not crazy, you know. So it's, all those questions, I don't think they really get answered in the end.
Most occasions, it's always a contradictory.
It's open-ended, right?
What about the scene, to go completely off base here, but when he jumps into his grave with Laertes?
Oh my god, he's about to go fight, like, head to head in her grave. I love her more. No, I love her more. Like, who's gonna shed blood on her dead body? I will. What? What?
It is so out.
That is just...
Like, I don't know if that, was that meant to be funny when they wrote that? Because I thought it was kind of funny.
I thought it was hilarious. I'm not sure if they meant it to be actually funny, because I know that when they had the two grave diggers, that's supposed to be like, you know, the comic relief there. And then when he finds, you know, the skull of Yorick, and he talks about, you know, the past, and this is all we are, we'll be returned to dust. And But I still thought that whole fight scene, I thought that was the funniest thing ever. I imagine two young boys fighting over the favorite toy, like, I like it more, I like it more. And then the mother being
I like it more.
And then the mother being like, get out of that grave right now, young man.
Just remember, the only definition of a tragedy is that the protagonist is in a worse situation by the end of the play. And a comedy is vice versa.
And just like William Shakespeare, any tragedy, pretty much everyone dies.
Yeah.
Like you will maybe have like two people that you have met at the beginning of the play.
And they're
still
not even
alive.
major characters.
They're not even, well, Horatio's like, eh.
Horatio is probably one of the more major. But with
With,
look
like,
at Romeo and
William Ford
Juliet,
Robinson.
most of just about every major character either is dead, is not well known, or just fades off.
Or is dead.
Or is dead.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the other one that you even mentioned in the beginning was Charlie, was the just like youth, like the recklessness of youth. It comes up again and again.
Impulsive.
Yeah, it's just the impulsive and recklessness. And Hamlet really is like, he's completely reckless.
Oh my god.
Like he just kills Polonius and he doesn't even care. He's like, oh well, Polonius is dead. You're a whore, Mom. You know, it's like
He's like, Mom, this is your fault. If he wasn't listening to us, this would have never happened.
yeah.
I hear that a lot too.
And then Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, or whatever their names are.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
These two poor guys, right?
They're
just doing what
poor
the king ordered
guys.
them.
Yeah, but like they're turning their back on their friend. They deserve to get beheaded, honestly.
I don't know.
Come on, think about it. Oh, dude, we love you, man. But you know what? Your uncle, aka your stepdad, told us to get you beheaded. Maybe. There you go.
Did they know?
Did they know?
Pretty much that's the role that they serve. They're working for the king.
I think they deserve.
They're gonna go along with whoever holds the power.
Right.
Have to, or it's.
The feeble-minded masses.
Ugh.
I don't know. You know, there's another play
Anything
too
to keep a
called,
job.
Was it Rosencrantz and Guildenstern or Dead? I think there's a
A
play.
Rosenplant. Well, I know there's a
Whoever they are.
meme that says Rosenplants and Guildenstern, and it shows two dead plants are dead. I was like, yes.
No, but there's another play. I haven't actually read it. It came out, I think, in the 60s or something. I just wanted to. I'm curious about it. Yeah.
Okay.
To get like a different perspective on those two characters, because I don't know. To me, they're not doing anything that crazy. They're just trying to please their king.
They're like.
I mean, what if they said no, Your Majesty? Then what? Then they'd be beheaded anyway. They can, you know what I mean? They'd die.
I prefer
You can't
not
just
to.
tell the king that you're not going to do what the king tells you to do.
That you do have a point. You're going to listen to no matter what king it is, unless you're willing to be beheaded in order to spread a message.
Yeah, like come martyr yourself, something like that.
But a lot of people won't do that.
No, least of all Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter in the end, does it? Because Hamlet is like, he just throws them to the wolves.
Well, I have some final thoughts on the whole relationship dynamic between Hamlet and Ophelia. Are they really in love? Does Hamlet really go crazy in love for her because, you know, she's denying him because that's what she was instructed by her father and Laertes and Gertrude. They tell her, you know, ignore Hamlet even though you were kind of like in love. Is Hamlet doing all of this because he wants to get into her pants, or does he actually, seriously, does he just want to get into her pants,
Oh, boy.
or does he really love her?
Wait, do women wear pants?
Really?
Sorry.
Because there's that one point when they do the mousetrap play, the play within a play, and literally Hamlet comes up and he's still acting crazy, puts his head in Ophelia's lap, is being extremely rude, and then says, you know, all this about, oh, women are just made, you know, to bear children and have sex, and then that's when he tells her, get thee to a nunnery. So do they have a past with any of that? What do you guys think?
You do have to take into account that Ophelia did kill herself, and it had to do with the not being able to succeed at getting with her and Hamlet becoming one.
I don't know about that. That seems kind of like a weak reason to kill yourself.
It is. I mean, granted, there's the whole speculation of whether or not it was Hamlet's fault because it was when we finish off, Hamlet is just about physically responsible for the male deaths, and for the female deaths, they all are taken unto themselves, but have a connection to Hamlet.
Okay, and then another question. Did Ophelia actually drown herself, or was she murdered? Because this is a question that is usually brought up, because I'm trying to remember who wrote that poem named Ophelia. I know the artwork is by J.E. Melas, but it literally says, you know, the man in white looks over her. She knows there's a stranger there, and that even leaves it open. Like, this brings in the idea of her being murdered. What if, because she was starting to kind of see the whole plan, what if Hamlet, being in his psychosis, goes and drowns her? Because think about it, how hard is it to drown yourself? I mean, not that I've tried, but
unintentionally, all you have to do is get water up your nose.
Yeah.
So that means you could slip and fall into a puddle and drown yourself.
It would not be.
But to intentionally do it,
You would need a couple of rocks.
you have to really be engaged.
Let's go underwater and breathe. Is it harder than that?
Well, there is air in water if you think about it.
Well, yeah, but you need gills.
I don't know, because the whole way I thought about it is just, I understand that she did, you know, fail in her mission, but just like you said, I don't believe that's a full-on way to just, oh, let me just go off myself because I can't get this guy to love me. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think it's plausible for a girl to go into a pond, which is they show that it's not that deep of a pond either.
It's
and then she's floating face up. She's floating face up with lilies.
It's definitely Hamlet's fault, but not. The question is whether or not he physically did it, or it was just he was the reason that she did that. And
well, he did kill her father too.
He did kill her father. He was physically responsible for the male deaths, for most of the male deaths in the story.
But you see how apathetic he is to killing Polonius. What makes you think that he, you know, wouldn't mind killing off Ophelia if she kept, you know, annoying him, getting under his skin? What if it was an accident, and then, you know, it took him a while to feel the remorse?
The theme that is going about is if a male figure like Hamlet, if he were to kill a female figure, not only would if society sees it, he's going to be shunned anyhow. But to him personally, that while he's irrational, that idea of rationality comes to effect. And perhaps Ophelia, he was only responsible in the way that Ophelia was under so much pressure and self-hatred.
Okay.
I would tend to agree. I don't think that Hamlet killed her. I don't think that he was around. I think he was still.
I was going to say, was anyone even around besides?
Well, I wasn't saying that it was particularly Hamlet that could have killed her. I just thought that, you know, there could be another alternative to her killing herself. But
Hamlet was probably the reason, but he was not. It wasn't by his hand, or by his sword, or by his replacement.
I would say that he was a reason, not necessarily the only reason. Like, 'cause, I mean, she seems like she's a bit unhinged herself after the death of Polonius. She's not in her, obviously, she's not mentally
Stable?
Yeah, she's not all together with him.
Thanks.
She's, singing songs. And
I know,
and
like
just acting
picking
kinda
flowers, you know.
what, girls can't walk around singing songs? They have to be crazy to do that? Come on, I do that on the regular.
Don't kill me.
Like,
I just split
No,
off,
but
don't kill me.
The only one that really would react happily to a death is Borat to his wife.
I have not seen
have not seen it.
Check it out. It's
That awkward
it's
moment.
hilarious.
You need that's what we need, the drumsticks, Charlie.
Does anyone else have
A rim
any
shot.
other themes to bring up?
It's not a rim shot. Huh?
Yes, no?
Hi.
All right. Any other final thoughts?
I like it. It's a good play.
Alrighty, if you're interested in reading Hamlet and
Oh my God!
any more Shakespeare plays, check out this William Shakespeare complete plays.
Check
I
out
got
those
this. I got this from Barnes and Noble for $7.98. It has everything from
Sonnets.
the first part of King Henry VI until King Henry VIII. It doesn't have sonnets. It has his plays.
Can I touch it?
But we will possibly be going over his
White.
sonnets in a future season.
And if you decide that you do like Hamlet, there's another play or another 2 plays that I must definitely advise you to read: Othello and Macbeth, because those are also 2 other tragedies that are very close to this type of thing that are very, very good.
I like Macbeth a lot.
Othello's, the Moor of Venice, come on.
I haven't read it.
Oh, it's so good.
Be sure to join us next time for another episode of Literary Gladiators. Until next time, keep reading.
Have fun.